Hi, my loves. Welcome back to the Starscartel channel. If you don't know, I'm Star. Y'all, I'm here with a dream. I can't stop. This dream made me so sad. But I feel like it's gonna be confirmation for somebody. Um, in this dream, I was walking around what seemed to be a grocery store, but it was like a grocery store I had never seen before. And I say that because at first I was thinking it was a Walmart, but the things that they were selling weren't like a Walmart I had ever seen because they had a lot of foreign foods and products. And it's like I couldn't understand the tags and the labels of anything. But I did, however, find a few aisles that had what seemed to be American food. It just seemed like that aisle was specifically for American foods. And I can't stunt y'all. It reminded me of when I was living in Jamaica when me and my ex-husband went to the grocery store, and while mostly everything was obviously of the nation that I was in, there were aisles that were dedicated to American based foods like the chips and certain candies. And you know what I'm saying, I think the only candy that I could not find that absolutely drove me up a wall is Reese's. Yo, I guess that's because I was looking for it. I couldn't find Reese's at all. It used to make me so. And the candies had different flavors that, some of them I like that, were new to me, like mango and things of such. But there was some flavors that were completely like I had never tasted it before. And I think it was called Tamarani and something like that. It's all like by day, but it tastes good too. But anyways, I'm walking around this grocery store. And it's like in this dream, I felt like I was on vacation or something. And I'm just going shopping and I'm picking up things that I want. And I go to this aisle looking for a snack that I'm familiar with. And I end up finding some pork rinds. Now, when I look at the pork rinds, I see they got all kind of flavors. And I'm looking for the flavor that I like. I like the spicy flavor. And I don't like the hot Cheeto spicy flavor. I like the normal spicy, the hot pork rinds, okay? And yes, I am country. I am that kind of country, yo. Yes, I eat pork rinds. Anyways, so I'm looking down the pork rinds aisle and I finally see the spicy flavor, but it's like in a small bag and it's the last bag, and everything else is in flavors that I have never heard of, and I'm just really frustrated. While I'm doing this, I noticed a young woman that looked exactly like a family member. And while I haven't seen this family member in a long time, she looked just like her. And I was like, I know I'm tripping. And I started kind of like following them because I was in shock. Like, she wasn't with anybody that I've known, and the people that she was with didn't seem like they were friends to her. It seemed like, like she was not with people that she knew because they were like, I don't even know how to explain it. They were different. Like, it's just like I just feel like she would never hang out with them willingly. And it was a situation where she looked like she was absolutely miserable and she was sad. And I see her go from this group of people, and then it's like they tell her to go over to another family, and she's now with these new people. And while she's walking around with them, I noticed her trying to get a hold of a cell phone, and she keeps trying and trying. And once she does finally get a hold of a cell phone, she is immediately caught, and the woman is scalding her and telling her, you're trying to steal my phone, you're trying to steal my phone. And once again, this is somebody in the dream, is somebody that I know, and they would never do anything like that. As far as I know, she would never try to deliberately steal somebody's phone. And I felt like it was kind of like an emergency situation where she really was trying to call somebody and get a hold of somebody. And that's what a dream is. The scripture comes from Jeremiah 17 and 8. And has been as a tree planted by waters, and he sends forth his roots by a stream, and he does not see when heat comes, and his leaf has been green, and he is not sorrowful in the year of scarcity, nor does he cease from making fruit. So here's the message. God said for somebody that you have been concerned about, somebody that you care about, it's like there is somebody that you haven't seen in a long time. You haven't heard from this person in a long time. And it's not just you, it's several people. Because sometimes it could be a vibe where this person don't like you, they feel some kind of way about you, and they literally just decided to cut you off. And you know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with that. If it's a situation where you gotta go no contact because you know what I'm saying, somebody is just wilding yo, okay? Because baby, I just saw a video about somebody talking about that, how there have been like a ton of people going no contact with family and friends because of just, is a lot going on. But this is a situation, well, I can't say, it seems like this person had been kidnapped, snatched up, and taken to a whole nother country and forced to be a slave, and was just basically walking around with his family. She looked like she was sad. It looked like she wasn't eating. It looked like she was in a position to where she was trying to get away from them and simply couldn't. And I know some people think you may think to yourself that if somebody is in this kind of predicament or somebody is going through that, it'll be a situation, well, they'll call or they'll do this, they'll do that. I mean, typically when somebody goes through something like this, they're going to try to take the phone immediately. They're going to try to take away identification immediately. So it will be a situation where this person will have a very hard time getting away. Even when it comes to the U.S. Embassy, you have to know where to go. Like, and if you in a whole different country and you have no point of reference of where you are, how to get to A, B, and C, which typically when people go through this, they don't know where they are. They don't know where they're going. Like, even if it's a vibe where you are literally in the car and you see every which way you're going and the direction you're going, it doesn't mean you're going to remember. And I just feel like this message is, I don't know if it's supposed to be confirmation for someone, because you have been wondering what happened to this person. You have been wondering why you haven't heard from them, why you haven't seen them. God said this is for somebody that your loved one got caught up. Mm-hmm. Your loved one got caught up. Somebody then snatched them up and took them somewhere they don't want to be, and they are now being forced into slavery. And I just feel like, as much as people try to say that this sounds crazy and it doesn't make sense, I also just watched a historical video about Louisiana, and how Louisiana got started is the French decided that they were going to take people they deemed undesirable and force them to live in America because nobody wanted to stay here. And they decided to start kidnapping men who were homeless, who were criminals, who were jobless. They started off with the homeless, then they moved on to the criminals, and then they decided to start gathering together men that just simply didn't have a job. And then after they had all these men over here, they decided that they were going to start forcing women to come over here. So who did they grabbed up women that were homeless, women that were prostitutes, probably women that were just simply walking around. At some point they just started snatching people. If you didn't have family to vouch for you, if your family wasn't fighting for you, if your family wasn't standing up for you, it was a situation where you ended up getting snatched away from where you're home and forced to marry somebody you don't know and move to a country that you've never been to before. And I feel like this is like a soft, calm version of what seems to be going on right now. Because what seems to be going on right now is just people being forced into slavery, to be honest. And it seems like it is like through so many different things, because the hotels, okay, Uber, okay, and I guess Lyft as well, but I don't even use Lyft. But I guess it will be taxi drive. There are certain taxi drivers that are involved in this here. There are certain hotels involved in this here. There are, in reality, just certain people that they just know who they know and they are down with it. I mean, Even thinking about what happened in the past, baby, like my old school teacher said, if you do not study your history, if you do not pay attention to history, it can certainly repeat itself. Baby, this happened before. It ain't no situation where it's too far-fetched and no, nobody would do that. I can't imagine it. Dot, dot, baby, stop playing. Because I saw in the news where two men decided to go over to Haiti and were plotting to take over the whole country. They plotted to enslave an entire island, and who they felt like who gonna stop us? Wicked people be doing stuff all over the place. And in reality, it's enough. Like, just like there are good people in this world, there are a lot of wicked people in this world. So don't let it be a situation, regardless to if this is a situation where this is somebody you looking for your loved one, or if this is a situation where God is sending you a warning, like, be careful out here. If you are somebody that, you feel like you're a vulnerable person, and I feel like vulnerable people would typically be women that you are alone. You typically travel alone. If it's a situation where you're an outcast, you a black sheep, you don't really have as many friends, you don't really, like God said, you have to be careful, because you never know when somebody is trying to have something terrible happen to you. And I know some people think, well, this isn't terrible. Yes, it is. Because there go all your dreams fly out the window. Now all of a sudden you can't do what you want to do. If you had dreams of going to school to be a doctor or a lawyer or a nurse or a teacher or whatever it is, that goes all the way out the window. Why? Because now you are forced into being Mrs. Such and Such a slave. And I'm being reminded of how in the movie The Color Purple, when what was her name? I forgot her name, but y'all know Oprah character, when she got into it with them people. That lady wasn't poor. That was a rich. They was rich. The family in that movie was rich. They wasn't poor. They stayed in a big old house with all that farmland. That man, Mister, was not a poor man. His son had a club on a lake. They were not poor. The clothes she was wearing, she was not poor. She had every right to say, you know what, HE double hockey sticks. No, to that lady talk about, do you want to be my maid? No, why would she want to be a maid when she's a housewife? Her husband got money. What's she going to be that lady maid for? They felt like that was offensive. In reality, it could be like that. Somebody like, there's someone that feel like it's offensive that you don't want to work for them. You don't have to work for them if you don't want to. You are not a slave. And now, you know what I'm saying? It could be a situation where they trying to make you one. God said, be careful. Be careful. Be careful, be careful, and watch your surroundings, because there are people that will literally, as a witness, right hand to God, there are people that will try to put hits out on you. They will try to call people after you because they feel like, how dare you? Just like that lady did in that movie. How dare you tell me no? How dare you not work for me? And it's like, for what? Like, I almost feel like, why in the world, even in the book, like that part of that movie makes me so upset. I still haven't seen the new version of The Color Purple because it just makes me upset. It is a movie that makes me upset. For one, I was, you know what I'm saying, I was assaulted as a child. That bothers me. And, to the point to where she ended up marrying this mean man, even though I didn't have to go through that. But she was forced into marrying a mean man that was abusive to her. She didn't get to have any more children. And it's almost like her whole life was filled with misery, sadness, and loneliness. That bothered me. When her sister did come to visit her, her husband was trying to get with her. That bothered me. And the fact that when her stepson decided that he was going to get married and he got kids, and they just simply going to the store minding their business, his wife ends up being snatched up by the police officers because how dare she tell Miss Such and Such, HE double hockey sticks. Now I get it. She was a little rude about it. But to be told, like I said, she's rich. She was rich. She was rich. She was rich. She was rich. And she was offended that this lady would even ask her something like that. And, sometimes people, when they just think that they better than you, they don't care about the fact that you got all these things for in your life. It could be a situation where they see you got your own house, you got your own car, you done got married, you living your life, you living your best life. And they thinking, no, they shouldn't be living like that. They need to come and work for me. Why in the world would I come and work for you? Why would I do that? Even thinking back to what happened in this piece of history, you know what I'm saying? As quiet as it's kept, as much as it's swept under the rug, because baby, as somebody that, you know what I'm saying, know a lot about Louisiana history, that I was just learning that I was like, what? Because what they tell you is that these were willing people that were willing to move over here. They don't tell you that they were kidnapping people. And that's what it is. Because how does it equate just because, you know what I'm saying, as far as the men, just because you stole a piece of candy from the store, now all of a sudden you need to move to this new country where it's nothing but wilderness and little shacks and make something happen? Huh? Just because you haven't gotten married yet and nobody in your family is vouching for you, they don't want to stand up for you and they don't care what happens for you, that means you need to marry this stranger and move to this foreign land. What? You on hard times, you don't have nowhere to stay? Well, we finna swipe you up from right here and move you all the way to another country, a foreign land, once again, and force you into the baby. How does that equate? Now I do get that sometimes it be like, you know what I'm saying, people with horrendous offenses. When you going around trying to take people's lives, kidnapping people, and trying to force yourself up, like there are some things that you can do where I could kind of understand. But there are certain things where it's just like that don't even make sense. God said for somebody that you have to be careful because sometimes it just be a situation where people feel some kind of way. Like they could be envious of you. They can feel some kind of way. Meanwhile, it could be a situation they could be better off than you. Because as rich as her family was in this movie, it don't mean her family was richer than that lady. I think she was the mayor's wife or something like that. They wasn't richer than her, but just because they wasn't richer than her don't mean that she need to work for her. God said sometimes you have to be careful because there are people that, like, you know what I'm saying, can be envious, and this you could be just doing a little something. They could be jealous of your little raggedy car. They could be jealous of your little raggedy house. They could be jealous of your cheating boyfriend, your cheating husband, anything. Just because there's some people that are very, very, very selfish and they think everything should be theirs. God said, if it's a situation where you feel like there's somebody that you care about and you love and they've been missing in action and this is somebody you usually hear from them, call somebody, okay? Call somebody and try to figure out where they at and what's going on because it's something going on. And I get that I'm in a position where somebody is trying to target me, but simultaneously, baby, the way that everything been going, I feel like it's not even just that. Because, you know what I'm saying, even one person, like how in the world the hotels, all the Uber drivers, you know what I'm saying, delivery people, like, like Uber delivery and Uber drivers and all that, that's crazy. But anyways, that's the message God said for somebody. It could be a situation where you looking for someone, you worried about somebody, and they are literally captured somewhere, having been forced to work for somebody they don't know, forced into doing things they don't want to do, probably not even eating, not even just malnourished and going through it right now. And if it's a situation where every time they get comfortable with the family that they with, they get switched over to another family, it's going to be very hard to find them. Anyways, that's the message. God said, be careful. I feel like this is a message of warning. For some, and for some of y'all, it's confirmation because you have been praying very hard and trying to figure out what's going on, what happened to such and such, where did this person go, where did that. God said, baby, you better look into it. And that's the message. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. You got to look into it. Things like this, you need to look into who was the last person around them. What was they at? Because there are people that will literally set people up, just like during another historical moment, the witch trials, and how there was some people that got caught up in the witch trials that weren't witches. You gotta pay attention. We can even go back to when the slaves were brought from Africa to America. There were people that were rich that were brought here. People that was royalty brought here. People that had land, livestock, and all kind of stuff. They kicked their front door in and snatched them out their house and stole all their things. So you have to, baby, you have to be careful. You have to be careful, and you have to be careful some more. And that's the message. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Deuces.